everyone, how is it going? How is your day going? Sherry here, aka Diamond Art Addiction, and welcome to Time Out Thursday. And what Time Out Thursday is even as adults, every once in a while, we need to take a time out too. And on today's topic for Time Out Thursday, I am going to be talking about something that I have learned to do, which is called the 5-second rule. And I learned this, I'm actually in the process of reading a book, and the book is actually called The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. I will throw up a picture right in the screen right about here. So this book here, I'm not finished reading it yet, but it is, from what I have read, which to be honest with you is not much, and I actually started reading that book a long time ago, but from what I have read from it, I have taken so much from it, and I've learned a lot. And that is what I'm going to talk about in Time Out Thursday this week. So in a nutshell, without going into a squirrel moment and trying not to sidetrack, is before we make any major impulse decisions, before we say something that maybe we'll regret down the road, take 5 seconds to think about things. Take 5 seconds in your brain, even if you're like me and you're blunt, or, before you speak what's necessarily on your mind right at that precise moment, take 5 seconds to think about what you're going to say, how you're going to word it. Oh, I'm popping drills over here. I really need to find a tray that's actually going to function for me. Squirrel! Oh, I cannot wait to get that squirrel pen, and it seems my squirrels have made their way around the diamond painting community. So the 5-second rule just doesn't have to apply when speaking with people. It can apply when, say, you're out shopping and you see a really nice new pair of shoes or handbag or sunglasses or whatever it may be. Before you toss it in your cart, think about it for 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Do I really need this? Is this a need or a want? The 5-second rule can be placed in so many different aspects of your life, but the biggest one I wanted to touch base on is when dealing with people. And this is what I used to do when I was an office manager for an oil and gas company. Is, when you're working with truck drivers or just people in general, whether it's employees or whether it's, the public, the 5-second rule has really, really helped me in learning how to speak with people in a manner where I can get my point across, but still be able to do it with kindness and respect. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example of something my father taught me when I first started doing office managing and I had to start giving people shit. My dad said, Sherry, he said, anytime you need to speak with somebody that may be in a negative manner, he said, give them the shit sandwich. Yeah, you heard me right, shit sandwich. And what a shit sandwich is let's say, we'll talk in working manners, okay? So when I used to give somebody crap at work for something they may have done wrong, I would go at them, but in a manner where they would be walking away with more of a positive than the negative that I had to bring them into the office for. So a shit sandwich is when you first go to speak with somebody, before you give them the negative. Give them their first layer of bread being a positive. You know, it could be, Jane, I think you are great. You're with the public. You know, you're really good with speaking with people, and I've really noticed that. Now you want to insert the shit being your center of your sandwich. And you go, but I have noticed you're a little bit slow when it comes to doing some of the cleanup. It'd be really appreciative if you could just be a little bit more faster when you're doing your cleanup. Now you want to give them their last layer being the last layer of bread, which is a positive. So now that you've done, okay, so now I've mentioned to you about you need to be a little bit faster with the cleanup. I really noticed the other night when you did clean the ice cream machine, it looked fabulous. Now, if you could, you know, do you see what I'm saying without me having to go into detail? So when you go to give somebody constructive criticism, or you go to give critique, or you gotta speak to somebody about a negative, give them the two positives first. So no matter what, they're walking away with the two positives versus, you know, just a negative. And when I started implementing that at work, I noticed a huge difference in speaking with people. So I started implementing that in my everyday life. Along with the 5-second rule is the shit sandwich. Whether it's my children, my husband, friends, you know, I have learned to, you know, let's say, as I've spoken in other videos, when people want to advise me, okay, we all know how I feel about that one. When someone wants to advise me, instead of just going off half-cocked, you know, come at them with the shit sandwich. First, I take 5 seconds, the 5-second rule. Okay, I'm not really liking what they're saying to me. So how am I going to word this where I don't come across as rude and appreciative, but let them know that I really don't need to be advised? So that's where I'll give them the shit sandwich. So I've done my 5-second rule. I've thought about it first. Okay. Now I'm going to give the positive. Positive being, you know, I really appreciate that you want to take your time, you know, and speak to me and voice your opinion. There's your positive. Now you're going to give them the meat, the center of the sandwich, the shit. But I would really appreciate it, you know, maybe not every conversation you have to advise me. Okay, so you've given the negative. Now you want to give another positive. I really do enjoy our phone conversations. Okay, so the person that I have now just spoken to about constantly advising, and these are just examples. I am not taking shots at anybody, but I'm just thinking of examples, right? So the person that I'm speaking with, they got the 2 positives versus the 1 negative. You know, and this can be implemented in so many areas. And it's taken me a long, long, long time to learn how to do this. I am the least confrontational person that you will ever meet. Like, honestly, I have just started over the last year of my healing journey, been able to start speaking my mind and saying what I want to say without, you know, holding back in a sense. And that's where I've really implemented the 5-second rule and the shit sandwich. And as I continue reading this book, which I really need to pick it back up and start reading it again, you know, it's just from those first couple chapters that I read, it really stuck with me. And then I implement how my dad taught me the shit sandwich. And I'm like, you know, I thought this would be a great topic for TimeOut Thursday, because no matter how old we get, we're forever still learning. I'm still learning. And I don't want to be the doormat no more where everybody can just, say what they want to me and I'm not going to fight back, or I'm not going to speak my mind because I'm afraid of retaliation, or I'm afraid of hurting them, or, those days are over with me. And this has just kind of started over the last 6 months. I mean, I've never had a problem speaking my mind when it comes to being in a positive manner, but when it comes to what people are necessarily saying or doing, yeah, shit sandwich goes out the door. Same with the 5-second rule. It goes out the door. Well, it used to go out the door. Now I've been implementing the 5-second rule again, along with the shit sandwich. And I have been able to speak my mind without hurting people's feelings, without coming across as a bitch. And that's because I'm implementing the 5-second rule and the shit sandwich. So if you think that these could help you, they probably could. It's so hard to change how we do things, and it's not that I'm sitting here saying, well, you need to change yourself. No, but if you're wondering why maybe people don't respond to you as well, or you're not sure how to come across, maybe this can help you the way it did me. I'll tell you, I really got tired of being a doormat. Oh, I really, truly did get tired of being a doormat. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys a story here where I wish I would have implemented this, okay? And I didn't, but I wish I would have. So I'm sure you guys have heard me speak of a friend that betrayed me late in the year last year. Okay, so said friend, which I will never in a million gazillion years ever name names or shame people on social media, because I think A, that is the tackiest thing anyone could ever do. B, I'm more mature than that. So no, I will never ever lay names out. I will never, that's just not my style. I am not about drama or negativity. But okay, let's get back. Squirrel! I'm squirreling here. I had this all in my head how I wanted to word this today, and now I just feel like it's all coming out wrong. Probably because I am in pain, and I had the most interesting live, let me tell you. Almost fried my laptop. Silly tea. Tell you, getting in my way. Okay, squirrel! We're really squirreling here. Okay, so back in, well, let's start at the beginning. Back in November, this was not the first time that this person had betrayed me. Even though in said person's mind, they don't think they've done anything wrong. Whatever, they can live on their high horse. I personally don't care. Will said person watch this? Maybe, maybe not. Do I care? No, not really. All right, so me and said person had met through our daughters. They were friends in school in the town that I used to live in. And me and my daughter had issues, as most mother and daughters do. So my daughter went and stayed with them for a few days after a blowout that we had. I ended up becoming friends with her friend's father. We're gonna name John, okay? So John is my ex-friend's husband, and Mary, we'll go with Mary, is my ex-friend. So I became friends with John. And we started talking, and he had said, oh, I should introduce you to my wife. I think you guys would get along. And I'm like, sure. He's like, well, she doesn't really talk with too many people. And I'm like, well, no, you know what? I'm pretty friendly, man. I can get along with almost anybody, unless you're just, yeah, I ain't going to say the word. So we slowly became friends, got to know each other. We hung out a little bit, went camping, had a blast. They loved camping, so do we. So we developed a really strong friendship. And she had become one of my best friends, someone that I had trusted, someone that I had told very personal things to, because I had trusted. Mary ended up moving back to her original area where she had moved to Alberta from. So Mary, we had remained friends on Facebook. We admined in a group together. I had introduced her to the spiritual path, the, traditional witch. I'm not saying like I am the, I'm just the one that kind of, she got to know me as that, and she found that, it interests her. So we had that in common. Okay. So we were like, I am not much of a phone talker. Like, I am not one to sit on a phone and talk. I am more for a visiting in person kind of thing. I've just never been much of a phone talker unless it's something serious. Okay, squirrel. All right, well, Mary is moved away. We're online friends, message back and forth through Messenger. In the meantime, I had met another spiritual person who had called herself a traditional witch as well. And we developed a pretty close online friendship. I had trusted I'm just going to say, I trusted Catherine greatly. I did. And, I started back in 2016. My grandmother had passed away, and we watched my grandmother fade slowly as she had dementia. And I wasn't able to be active as much as I should have been, in this group that I was adminning for. I did weekly oracle card readings for the group, and I was also a part of Catherine's group, and she wanted me to be a teacher, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I decided to add Catherine to this group that I was adminning for, because I just didn't have the time. Like, my grandmother had passed, my son had started developing some major issues. I just didn't have as much time to put into online as I had liked. So I thought by introducing Catherine to this group, it would kind of help alleviate some of the pressure off of me. And not that they put pressure on me, but I wasn't able to meet my obligations within the group, and I felt bad. Oh, geez, from Intho, I thought I was using the wrong color. I was going to be like, oh, Hanna-Barbera. No. Squirrel. So, as my best friend Mary was still adminning, and Catherine, they all kind of started getting close and became friends. And then for whatever reason, Catherine, at the time, what seemed like she had it out for me. And I don't know what all went down, but a bunch of lies were told and negative things were said about me. And here's the funny thing. I knew all this was going on before they even knew I knew. And my mother-in-law can contest to that, because I called it. I said, this is going to happen. Sure enough, within a few weeks, it happened. And then Mary had decided to she started seeing Catherine in a whole other light and wanted to speak to me, because there was a huge falling out with me and the group and this Catherine and whatever. I don't do drama, so I just walk away. Within a few months, Mary had messaged me saying we need to talk. Okay. So we talked and blah, blah, blah. She said that she had said some things because she wanted to set Catherine up, whatever, whatnot. Oh, hey, whatever. It all played out. Catherine left the group, but not before she had involved my family, who had nothing to do with this, by sending conversations that Mary and her and another person had. I seen these conversations where things I had told Mary that were very personal and very private were taken out of context and twisted into things that I never said. And whatever the reasoning or justification that Mary had, it was a betrayal. Was I angry? Absolutely. More hurt, no matter what the reasoning was. And I had talked to Mary about it. I could see the defensiveness coming out in Mary. And I was like, okay, I'm not even going to go there with this anymore. Whatever. I moved on, let it go. So Mary and John had moved back to Alberta. And great, awesome. We were so excited, so happy to have them come back. So we rekindled our friendship to where it was. We actually then moved to the town that they're in. You know, that was last year. And we continued our friendship throughout, you know, while living here. And then last year, like my back went out. My back's been bad since 99. I'll tell you guys that story another day. That'll be a story time. So I noticed, you know, I was having issues with other friends. And I had made a post on Facebook. Something I normally never do, but this was before I really started speaking my mind. 741. Hang on, folks. I need 741 here before I move on. Okay, P, right? Yeah, P is 741. So for whatever reason, I think Mary thought my post was about her, which it wasn't. So Mary decided to do a post on Facebook, and I then confronted Mary. Something I normally never do. And right away, because I confronted her, you know, Mary does not like to be wrong. Mary does not, you know, if Mary has done something in a negative manner, it's always because of somebody else. Never takes responsibility Mary doesn't take responsibility for Mary's actions. So Mary started spewing at me through text message. I'm like, no, I did not do the 5-second rule. Like, I will get to the point of my long-winded story here. I did not do the long story. Yeah, it is a long story, isn't it? A squirrel. But I did not do the 5-second rule. And I did not do the shit sandwich. Of course, when I get attacked, I am going to go on the defense. And I did. Okay. Said, done, whatever, moving on. Bye-bye. Have a nice life. You know, unfriended Mary on Facebook because, I mean, not only, so, okay, before I go into this. So me and Mary had a lot of the same friends on Facebook. So glad I do Instagram now too. Anyway, squirrel. Mary decided to take to Facebook. We had a lot of the same friends and acquaintances, whether it was in real life or in Facebook life. I call it Facebook land, YouTube land, you know what I mean. We had a lot of the same peoples. Okay. And then they kept going on and on. And you know, this isn't the first time that Mary takes to Facebook to trash. Whether it was about a job, whether it's about a person, Facebook seems to be Mary's way of spewing. Cool, to each their own, you know, whatever. Mary decided to take to Facebook and start trashing me. Okay. People are sending this to me, asking me what the hell her problem is. I said, it's between me and her. But then my 14-year-old son had seen something, and he commented because her husband, John, messaged me on Instagram, my old Instagram account. That one dead and gone. And I'm like, because my husband had decided to remove everybody, but I got accused of that because apparently they're right, I'm wrong, whatever. And then she goes to Facebook saying I'm harassing her husband, which was bull crap. I was not. He had messaged me first. But with Mary, there's no getting through. Once Mary sees things a certain way, that's all there is to it. So, okay, because my son did that, all of a sudden, now she felt the need to name and shame me across Facebook. Like, so, okay, I decided this time to take the 5-second rule because I was going to bite back. And I did the 5-second rule. I thought about it for 5 seconds as I was doing deep breathing, going namaste. And within that 5 seconds, I had changed my mind and thought, you know what? I am not that immature. I do not need to go to Facebook to name and shame somebody. I thought to myself, the truth always comes out. And I'm not saying I'm the perfect friend or I'm the perfect person. I'm far from it. I am far from it. You know, obviously she had a thorn in her ass when it came to me, you know, and I had a lot of our friends who were like, we had, you know, the same friends messaging me saying, what is her issue? I'm like, I don't know, ask her. And they're like, to hell with that. But the next thing you know, she's going to name and shame me. And that's the unfortunate thing is, you know, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, are you not going to fight back? And I'm like, no, why? I'm better than that. I said, I don't need to act like I'm 14 on Facebook, naming and shaming and calling people down, calling names, like grow up. And that's where the 5-second rule worked for me. And a lot of people had said, you know, well, we really see her true colors, but we're too afraid of her, so we're just not going to say nothing. And there were people who, you know, were my friends and decided to block me or whatever, whatnot. Cool, that's your story, not mine. You do you, honey boo boo. I'm going to do me, sweet pea. You know, the thing is the people don't realize that if someone is that quick to betray their friend twice and talk trash behind their friend's back, how many times do you think that she's done that to them? You know, I could have easily went to said people and sent them screenshots of things that she said about them. But why? I don't need to do that. What, to prove that she's wrong or to make a point? No, I don't need to make a point. I was trying to hash things out like adults, not saying I'm perfect, going through a lot of stuff at the time. Okay, so before I continue on, I've been filming for half an hour, so here is today's question. Do you call Pepsi soda or pop? Answer down in the comments. Is it soda or is it pop? I'll be curious to see what everyone answers with. Okay, now we're moving on with the rest of the story, which I completely lost my train of thought already. Anyway, the moral of the point is yes, this person betrayed me severely. And you know what? It wasn't her actions that had me upset. What it was is she made it so I couldn't trust anybody. If you were such a good friend to me and you could do this to me, well, who's to say other people won't do the same thing? So I sat back and I had to reevaluate all my friendships. Did what she did make me cry? Absolutely. Absolutely it did. Did I fight back? No. Did I go on Facebook to name and shame? No. Instead, I got together with some sister witches and we did exactly what witches do. we sent everything back times 3. So anything that she bestowed upon me was sent back to her times 3. That way it keeps my karma clear, because it just means everything I bestowed upon her is going to be sent back to me times 3. And that's kind of a little bit how that works, but that'll be for a spiritual Saturday conversation. So the 5-second rule, the moral of the story is the 5-second rule works. It really, truly does. It's helped me in so many areas. Even when it comes to impulse buying, unless it's diamond painting, there is just nothing that's going to stop me from that. Unless my bank account's going and I need groceries. Because food and everything else will always come ahead of that stuff. So I really hope that, if you guys can take anything away from today's Time Out Thursday, is try the 5-second rule. When it comes to people, when it comes to yourself, when your kids spill something all over the floor, before you yell and scream, breathe and count to 5 in your head. You'll see a difference. When it can be used for so many different areas of a lot of different things. And it takes a lot to retrain yourself on how to think, how to process things. It takes a lot to learn how to speak your mind with kindness and respect. And that's where the shit sandwich comes in, right? Like, if you're unsure of if you want to get your point across to somebody, do 2 positives to the 1 negative, and it'll help you in so many different ways. I mean, and I know it's helped me doing it, just not when I was working, but when I was in life general. You can get your point across to anybody, whether it's a positive, whether it's a negative, whether it's a constructive criticism. Even if they've pissed you off, you can speak to anybody with kindness and respect. And if you're not sure how to do that, then do the 2 positives to 1 negative. I don't know how else to, and maybe this will help so misunderstandings don't happen, like what happened with me when I did the I'm sorry video. When said person had messaged me back and said, that is not what I was trying to say, blah, blah, blah. Well, it came across very negative, and because there was no positive in there whatsoever. So of course I was going to perceive it as a negative, even if that's not how this person was meaning to come across. How else am I going to perceive it when I got messaged right after I had commented on that live, and it came at me in a negative way, so I'm going to take it in a negative way. So if said person is watching and you don't, as you said to me, you don't want to sound like an ogre. I'm not one to tell people what to do. Take it if you want, take it if you don't. But if you want to get your point across, try the 2 positives to the 1 negative. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm throwing that out there because said person I really like, and that's another thing. When someone that you really like or whatever comes at you, no matter what the intentions or whatever were, when it comes at you in a negative manner, it hurts more, because you like this person, or you look up to this person, and I mean, if I didn't give a shit, I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, yeah, you know what? Basically, but because I care, and it's not that I care what people think, because I personally don't really care what people think. As I always say, they're going to do you, honey boo boo, and I'm going to do me, sweet pea. It's just the way it is. But I always believe no matter what, anything can be spoken or said with kindness and respect and in a positive light. Unless they just piss you off, then that just goes out the door. Bye-bye. Gone. See you later. Have a nice day. So I think I have said all I've wanted to say for Timeout Thursday, plus my back is really killing me. So again, that is how you can enter in for today's giveaway is, do you call Pepsi or Coke soda or pop? Comment down below. If you see that I have liked your comment, or if I comment back, then yes, I have got you marked down for that day. I have had people messaging me saying, oh, you didn't like my comment, or I haven't heard from you. Did you get my entry? Absolutely. I was not expecting this to go over as well as it has. Like I said, I don't know what I was expecting, but the moment that you see that I've hearted your comment or I've written to you, I have got it wrote down in my computer, because what I do is I write down everybody's name, their answer for the day, and then I go back and I heart and I comment. I may not be able to comment on everybody's comments. I'm trying my best to keep up, but it just seems more and more keep coming in, and it might just get to the point where I'm just going to start hearting the comments. I'll try to comment. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. I absolutely love interacting with each and every one of you. I am so loving getting to know you all and seeing your personalities come out in the comments. This has been so much more than I had hoped for. I am so excited to see who is going to win this giveaway. Squirrel. So until tomorrow's video, everybody, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Stay positive, live blessed. If you like this, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.